I know.
We're back. What is going on?
Yes, I am. Bear with me one moment because we got DSM back up live here.
What's going on, guys?
I want to make sure we get the correct link shared out here.
Yeah. So for those who are watching saying, what the hell are these two idiots talking about? We've had issues streaming through DSM Media's Twitter. We haven't been able to do it for Scotty, like 2 months now, it feels like. So we've been having to do it from our own personal accounts. So just for the hell of it, Scotty did it from our personal accounts and the DSM account, and today it just magically worked today. So little caught off guard here.
Yes, so I'm actually taking it down and just we can just stream on DSM now. It's beautiful because
tomorrow it won't work,
pages. Right. I'm wondering how far the fix went. Like, do we get comments now too? Like,
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out shortly. But yes, this is amazing. I'm very excited. This brightened up my day completely. And, fixes at least one error that we were having with our streaming services. So glad to get that fixed. But welcome to another episode of NFL Turf Talk. Right here on DSM Media, as you can see, finally from Twitter as well. If you're not already following DSM Media, make sure you are. Go click that follow button at DSM_media. As you can see, we will be streaming all our content straight through that page now on Twitter. But if you're not on Twitter, on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. On Facebook, hit that like button, share it, and make sure we're getting all this content out everywhere possible. We want to engage with our listeners and viewers as much as we can. But Dylan, how are you doing on this fine Saturday with this exciting news?
I'm great now, dude. This has been like it just felt so wrong over the last month or so to have our content spread out on personal pages, and we're on DSM Media, we announced that, but when it's on our own personal page, it just doesn't feel the same. Yeah. And then it finally worked today. So no, it is not caught all the way back up with commenters, because I threw a comment on my personal Twitter and nothing has popped up here on StreamYard, but at least we're back streaming live on Twitter. And like Scotty said, it's just it made this Saturday feel a little bit better now.
It did, man. And we obviously got a lot of NFL action to get into. As you can see, I was watching my Duke brotherhood over there before we hopped on here. So a ton of sports today. I think we got a UFC card tonight as well. We're gonna it's a big one. It's pretty exciting, but we'll save that for another show, I suppose. We got some NFL divisional round matchups to talk here today. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start out. We'll recap the games that pertain to these games today. So we'll recap the Raiders and the Bengals game from last week. Then we'll get into the Bengals and Titans preview. Then we'll recap the 49ers and Cowboys game from last week.
Oh, I can't wait.
That will be the fun one. But then we'll preview the Packers versus 49ers for tonight's matchup as well. But before we do that, definitely want to make sure, if you're not following my co-host here, Dylan, at DylanJD98, go hit that follow button right now. And for myself, at Scotty Drown, hit that follow button. Make sure you're keeping up with all our content. But Dylan, let's talk about it. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with our first matchup today, the Raiders and the Bengals then?
We could do that. Obviously, I would love to get right into Dakota and that fraudulent team and that fake-ass fan base of theirs. But, we'll save that excitement for the middle, for the meat of the show. So, yeah, man, we could start with Joey B and that Raiders game. He looked good, man. That your boy continues to impress me. And here's where I'll throw the conversation to you first. As an Eagles fan, seeing what transpired on Sunday, the day after this game, Jamar Chase's stat line was 9 catches for 116 yards. That's how you get your stud rookie wide receiver involved. That's how you let them make an impact. He had 9 catches. That means he had double-digit targets most likely. I didn't look at his target numbers. Double-digit targets for the rookie, and they won the game. Would you look at that, Scotty? Would you look at that? You get them involved, they make an impact.
Joe Burrow's first playoff game too. I heard that's not possible. I heard that quarterbacks playing their
shit.
first playoff games can't win them. Like that's what I heard.
Joe Burrow's only played in like 26 games, so you got to give him time.
Like that's one thing, with the Eagles fan base, like we got to stop comparing. Like just stop comparing them. It's not the same situation at all. But that's for another day.
We're off to a hot start here. Yeah,
we
man.
Are.
But to reel us back in, that's where my eyes went first. Obviously, Cincinnati's rushing numbers were down. I think Mixon only ran for under 50 yards.
Yeah.
They didn't get the rushing attack involved at all. Burrow was 24-34, under 250 passing, but he was efficient. 2 touchdown passes, no turnovers. He had like a 110 quarterback rating. And yet, like you said, dude, he's up and coming, and I think he's arrived. He arrived in the latter part of the season. He arrived in his first playoff game, and good for the Bengals. Obviously, their playoff, not drought, but their playoff win drought was, I forget for how many years. I think it was like close to a decade or so, or not long. No,
30. Oh no, I'm sorry, getting out of the first round, but playoff appearance,
yeah. So it was fun to see that, and I saw your tweet before the show, and I wholeheartedly agree. As an Eagles fan, I don't have a second favorite team.
Yeah.
But if I'm polling for a team to win, it's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, you look at their team, and they, outside of like your favorite team per se, they have to be like the most fun team in the league.
Right. Like, they're an underdog, right? So they're playing the 1 seed on the road, right? Rookie quarterback. They're likable. They're ahead of schedule. Their quarterback's an absolute superstar already. So they're just a lot of fun to watch, I think.
Yeah, and exactly what you had said is what I have written down here about this game. It's just Burrow and Jamar Chase, they make it look stupid easy. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And you can tell that it stems back from when they played in college. Right. Like they did that, the whole year when they were on that run to the national championship. So it's translated completely, and it's actually pretty amazing to see it translate like that. And that's what I'm looking at. Like, you look at the Raiders, like obviously the Raiders aren't this like world beating like defense. Like it's not that great. They have a very good pass rush. Yeah, exactly. And so you go into that game, like, shouldn't Jamar Chase be your number one obstacle to stop? Like, you know what I mean? And he just comes out and he completely dominates. So maybe that's a lack of talent on the Raiders defense, but overall it's the Bengals imposing their will, which is a lot of what we talked about this entire season, teams being able to impose their will and impose their identity. And so as I look down the line, obviously we'll see, what happens today against Tennessee, but how do you stop Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow? Like, is it, you double team Jamar Chase and you leave E. Higgins open,
right? Now, and you can argue, obviously Chase is the number one on this team already, right?
Yeah.
But you can argue that they're so deep, they're so talented.
Right.
What are you going to do? Sure, you can double Jamar Chase. That's probably the smart thing to do.
Right.
So
you have to.
You make someone else beat you. Even if you think they can beat you, you force their hand and make one of those guys step up, right? But when you go down the list to Tyler Boyd, to T. Higgins, Joe Mixon's one of the best pass catchers out of the backfield, right? Their tight end who has come out. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. I'm not lying to you. Uzuma, however you pronounce his last name.
I think is how they say it on TV. I don't know.
He finds the end zone, I swear to God, every time I have a Bengals game on my television.
Yeah.
So they're so deep. And Joe Burrow is one of these quarterbacks already in his career that if something's not there, he's not going to force it. So if Jamar Chase is taken away, he's not going to go out of his way to get Jamar Chase those 9 targets. There's 9 catches.
Yeah.
Those 9 catches last week just came fluently. There was no force to it. There was no, forcing the issue to get him the ball. If T. Higgins is open because you're doubling Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is open. If Tyler Boyd streaking down the middle of the field, Tyler Boyd streaking down the middle of the field. Joe Burrow is going to sling it all across the field. And that's the scariest thing about this team.
And that, that's exactly what I was thinking as well, Dylan. Looking at this team, I'm just thinking, like, Jamar Chase is an incredible talent. He is wide receiver 1. But T. Higgins could be a wide receiver 1 at this point. Like, if you look at T. Higgins' stats, like, he went over 1,000 yards this year as well, and 6 touchdowns himself, 74 receptions. So that's with Jamar Chase getting 1,400 receiving yards, over 1,400, and like 13 touchdowns. You know what I mean? So Joe Burrow is spreading this ball around enough that he's got, 2 wide receivers in the 1,000-yard mark.
Here's my point about what I was just saying, right? Now, Chase was the leader last week. 9 catches, 116 yards, like I said. Then they get the ball to the tight end. The middle of the field was open a lot. Uzuma goes for 6 for 64. Mixon catches 4 balls out of the backfield. But the 2 dudes we're talking about weren't involved really at all. Like Tyler Boyd, 4 for 26 and a touchdown. T. Higgins had 1 catch for 10 yards, Scott.
Right.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because they won the freaking game.
Right.
They won the game with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd having 5 catches for 36 yards.
Yeah.
That's scary because that's not going to continue to happen.
Exactly. Because we know the ceiling of what a good day looks like for T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd.
Right.
Like I've had T. Higgins all throughout the season on my dynasty squad. And he has these clunker games like last week where it's just all going to Jamar Chase, the tight end, because they have so many weapons. But there's these other weeks against the Ravens, per se, where he gets like 200 receiving yards, like has an incredible game. So like his ceiling is through the roof. This whole Bengals offense their ceiling is through the roof in the playoffs. Their defense is slept on as well. That's something we haven't even talked about. But that defense is ferocious and they get after it, man.
Well, so 2 things, ready? So first, a positive note for the Bengals. Their offensive line, I would say, is their weakness of that offensive side of the ball. We talked about how the Raiders, their identity on defense is their pass rush. Max Crosby leading their defensive line, right?
Right.
He only got sacked twice. He only got put on the ground twice, right? Now, a little bit of a negative to, obviously, we're not done talking about this game in a whole, but to compare it to what they're up against today, their defense played very well against the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Derek Carr was 29 of 54, an interception, 3 sacks. I get all that. Josh Jacobs averaged 6.4 yards per carry in that game.
That's true.
And now you're going against the King. That's a worry.
That is a worry for sure.
So if you couldn't stop Josh Jacobs, now granted, he only ran the ball 13 times because they were down, but 13 for 83 yards. He had a long of 35. So, maybe if you take that run away, maybe the numbers are a little bit skewed because of that. And Derek Carr even had 1 run for 20 yards. So
I did see that.
The Bengals rush defense did not show up last week. Granted, they didn't really have to because they won the game. They were up early, so it forced Derek Carr to throw the ball 54 freaking times.
Right.
But that's not a recipe for success against the team that you're playing this week.
Derrick Henry,
Not at all.
I agree. And like we said, we'll see, because I know looking back on the Bengals defense through the regular season, they were the number 7 rushing defense in the NFL. But like you said, that can't happen against Tennessee. I would imagine the focus, we'll get into that game a lot, but I would imagine the focus is making Ryan Tannehill win that game. Like, that's what you have.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that's actually that's one of my keys for today's game when we get to it. So
yeah, for sure. But before we move on from this game, I just wanted to get your thoughts on, the other side. Obviously the Raiders, their season's over.
Yeah.
So we'll be saying goodbye to them. But looking at this game, like, how did it make you feel about Derek Carr, about, just the Raiders' whole future in general? Mm-hmm. How did it make you feel about them?
They are an interesting team. They're like an anomaly, dude. They don't make sense to me. So they overcame a lot of controversy this year with the Henry Ruggs situation, the John Gruden situation. They overcame a lot, and they had their special teams coach step in. They won 10 games. And if we're being truthful, as Eagles fans, which, we look at what we have and, we say we don't have a lot, and that's not incorrect. The Raiders don't have a lot either.
Yeah, no.
So, their offensive line is meh. Their number 1 receiver became Hunter Renfrow. Obviously, Darren Waller is a stud, but, he wasn't. He was beat up down the stretch of the season. And then they have Josh Jacobs. Their defense is They have a nice pass rush, right?
Yeah.
They won 10 games. So they are so weird to me. And Derek Carr is so weird to me because he can look really bad, Scotty.
Yeah.
Like, really bad.
I agree.
Or, on the flip side of things, he led this team through a ton of controversy with not a lot of support to 10 wins and a playoff appearance.
Yeah.
They had a successful season. As far as this game goes, I don't know. Like, what do you do? Do you move on from Derek Carr? I don't know what his contract situation looks like. I don't think Derek Carr is going to find any long-term success in Las Vegas. I don't think Vegas is going to find it with him. But when you just think of him, if he can get in the right situation, I think Derek Carr is a pretty damn good quarterback in this league. I know, he catches a lot of flack. The Bengals did the one thing you do against him. You get to him in the pocket. And when you get to him in the pocket, he starts falling to the turf before anyone even lays a hand on him. Like he does get tight when you get pressure on him. He does turn the ball over some. But I'd say as for the Raiders, successful season. I didn't think they'd win the game. They didn't, and they had a final drive to almost do it. I will say it was a pretty shitty final drive, and the ending to it, because I thought the Bengals were about to lose that game. I thought that game was going to overtime with the way that drive went. And it was mind-boggling to me, the last play, because regardless if he catches that ball or not, you threw it to the 2-yard line.
Right.
Game was over regardless.
Regardless,
right.
Yeah.
So
in that situation, looking at that specifically, and it's something that bothered me the whole game, is like the usage of Darren Waller. Like,
yeah,
I can't stand that he just won't throw it up for him to go and get it. Like, I can't. That's like my thing with it's the most detrimental part of Derek Carr's game, in my opinion, is that sometimes he just falls in. And it's just very seldomly when I watch a game of his, but it seems like every time I watch, he falls into this check down type of game. And I cannot stand that. I cannot stand when you don't give your team a chance down the field. But as you said, Derek Carr, I think he's a good quarterback. Like, so many times we talk about elite, not elite. I think he's just
he's good.
There's great, there's good, and then there's average, and then there's bad. And I think he's good.
I'd say he's right around that average to good.
Yeah,
his
right
arm talent. He's got a lot of arm talent. His decision making can be questionable.
That's what it is.
And his pocket presence is a little questionable.
For sure. And it will be interesting to see. You said it. You said it all very well. As far as what happened throughout their season, they went through a bunch of drama, but it will be interesting to see what they do at the quarterback position. Because do you draft one? Like,
right.
And if you draft one, like, is it one like in this draft? Is this one that's coming in and starting immediately? Like, right. I'm not sure about that. And then obviously Marcus Mariota, I would guess he's going to move on, but regardless, he's not the move going forward either. No. So, they're in a. It's like it's not a. I don't want to call it like a tough situation because they just made the playoffs, but
it's a pretty difficult situation.
Kind of is.
Like I said,
they're in one of the best divisions too.
I think they're kind of stale. They did make the playoffs in a very, very tough division. Obviously, they were the third team in there. Or second team, I'm sorry, they beat out the Chargers, obviously.
Yeah.
They win that game at the end of the year to get in. They overachieved. They won double-digit games. But like I said, them and Derek Carr is just kind of a stale thing. Like I think both sides know you're never going to find the ultimate success you're looking for as an organization or as a quarterback paired up the way they are. They don't have enough around them, point blank, period. So if he could get himself into a position, I don't even know where, but into a better position, I think Derek Carr would be a good quarterback on another team as well.
Do you think Las Vegas is a potential landing spot for an Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson?
I don't think so. I think as far as Watson, I think Watson's coming to the East Coast. I think he's got his mindset on Miami.
Yeah.
Even though Tua kind of picked his play up at the end. And we don't even know what's going to happen with the fallout.
Maybe that makes it easier for them to get Deshaun Watson too,
right.
To a plan.
Rodgers, no, I can't see it. And Russ, I really can't see any of them ending up there. That's what I'm saying. It's so stale when you think of when you think of the Raiders organization.
Like, why would you want to go there?
Who put a quarterback in that position? Who thrives there? Like, no one.
The only thing I would think is, if Aaron Rodgers could get like Devontae Adams to go with him wherever he wants. You know what I mean? Like if Aaron Rodgers is just out here selecting, but I would look at Denver as that spot, more so for Aaron Rodgers as well. Right. And I know you've already mentioned Pittsburgh as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Raiders, what they do moving forward. They got a lot of moving pieces there. So they got a lot of holes to fill as well. So do you want to go into the Bengals and Titans preview, or do you want to recap Cowboys and 40. Like, how do you want to do it? Recaps and then.
Yeah, we can just recap it and then we'll move on to today's slate. I guess.
Cool. So let's get into the fun one then. Let's have some laughs here early on in the show and talk about this 49ers win over the Dallas Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. Yep. The Cowboys take the L 23-17. Honestly, Dylan,
what was that second number?
17.
Oh, okay. Just want to clarify.
And honestly, Dylan, when you look at, if you watch this game, right? This was a game that honestly the score shouldn't have been that close. The Cowboys shouldn't have been in it at all, right? The 49ers, they kind of let them back into the game with the Jimmy G interception, whatever the case was with that. And the Cowboys obviously I'll let you tell the story because I know you got something for me.
I mean, listen, man, I don't even know what to say. As an Eagles fan, we shouldn't be able to talk shit about this, but I'm going to because it made my Sunday feel just a little bit better, Scotty. Like it made the pain of that Bucs loss feel just a little bit better, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful because there's a few things. The fans, let's start there. I think they kind of understand now. I said this to you earlier in the week now. I think that irrational, that crazy fan base that as soon as they lose in the first round of the playoffs, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year. Vegas is going to have them top 5 odds to win the Super Bowl next year, right? I think that's gone away. You see all the close-ups. Stephen A. Smith was the man on First Take all Monday morning, cracking up at that fan base. I think they're just demoralized. I think really, again, that was a highlight in itself. But when you look at this organization, when you look at this team and what they have, where do they go from here? Because I said it to you, Scotty. I said, if they lose this game, what more does he need?
Yeah.
What more does Dakota need to be successful? Right? I don't understand. He's got a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. He's got Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard lined up behind him. He's got Dalton Schultz as his tight end. I know Michael Gallup went out. They'll probably find a way to blame that. They were missing Michael Gallup. You have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson, and for the first time in recent Cowboys history, you have a defense with a ferocious pass rush. And a defense that almost, or if they did, lead the league in turnovers forced this year. What more do you need? And in this game, in a home playoff game, Dakota threw for 23 of 43, 254, a touchdown, a pick, 5 sacks, Scotty, and a fumble. What? It's laughable.
Hey, I have it written down
and we
here.
We haven't even talked about the ending.
Oh, I know. And while we're talking about Dak Prescott, how he's often painted as like this heralded, good individual, and he commends fans for throwing trash at referees. I just want to have that notated, right?
What a leader.
Like, that has to be on the record.
What a leader you are, Dak.
And it's funny.
Sorry.
What I got written down here, Dylan, I simply said, the Cowboys are going to Cowboy. That's what the Cowboys do.
It's every year.
That's what they do. They're NBLs, right? Natural born losers. That's what happens with the Cowboys, man. Every single season, they find a way to blow it. As you said, what is the excuse for Dak Prescott?
That's what I'm saying.
So what? Is it because he's coming back off the injury this season? Because y'all said he's most improved player. Y'all said he's MVP candidate. So which one? I want to know what the excuse is, man. Because now what we're going to go into the offseason, Dylan, with the Cowboys, they got to make some decisions.
That's what I'm saying.
What are they going to do with Amari Cooper? What are they going to do with Leighton Vander Esch, right?
This is great. Remember the fist pumps in Week 18 when he threw his 5th touchdown? Give it up for Dakota. He threw 5 touchdowns against the G League Eagles in Week 18. All for a first-round exit.
You swept the NFC East. You did it.
Listen, this brings too much joy to me, man. Like, it shouldn't. I know we got bounced too, but when you look at the trajectories that these two teams were on, being the Eagles and the Cowboys, when you look at where they're supposed to be at this point of, where they're at, the Cowboys, Super Bowl contenders, the Cowboys, easy division winners. The Eagles are going to win 5 games, and we weren't over ecstatic about the Eagles, but when you look how the season ended, where do you go from here?
I don't know.
That's my overall take. Exactly. That's my overall takeaway from it. What else do you need, Dakota? Dude, I don't know. What else forget what do you need to win a freaking Super Bowl? What do you need to get out of the first round?
I don't know, Dylan. I really don't. And you look at this game, CeeDee Lamb 1 catch. This is supposed to be the next wide receiver 1 of the NFL, not wide receiver 1 in Dallas. This is supposed to be the next phenom in the NFL, and he has 1 catch. We talked about Devontae Smith, right? And Devontae Smith's our wide receiver 1. He needs to be getting force-fed the ball.
If we were pissed off at that, I can't imagine what rational Cowboys fans look at that performance like.
So, Zeke, 12 carries, 31 yards. How much are they paying this guy?
Yeah. And then that's another thing I don't understand. I know you didn't run the ball a lot at all. You threw the ball 43 times. You ran the ball 17 times, right? Aside from Dak's 4 carries. But Tony Pollard only gets four looks. He's been a playmaker for you all year long.
And I like Tony Pollard. I actually like his game a lot.
Right. And what was the most Dallas was down? 10-0, right? And then it was 10-7, and then it was 16-7.
And then
it was just 10-0. So their biggest deficit, it was 10-0, then it was 16-7, and then it was 23-7 later in the game.
Okay, yeah.
But for the whole first half, it was no more than a 9 or 10 point game. Why would you abandon the run the way you did?
But then at the end of the game, you want to draw up a run play.
Oh my God.
A QB draw? Are you joking?
Yeah, so hold on. Yeah, we haven't even discussed it yet. What? Maybe
they made fun of Sirianni, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not joking around. Maybe the worst play call in the history of the National Football League. What are you doing?
Dude, you got the nerve to blame refs.
Yo, hold on. There's 14 seconds left. 0 timeouts. You need to get in the end zone. Not to kick a field goal. You need to get in the end zone. And here's where, I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to earlier in the week about it. Scotty, the play call made 0 sense for 2 reasons. A, you were able to pick San Fran apart using the boundaries all possession. So, this wasn't Dak drop back, boundaries gone, no one's open, he takes off. This is supposedly the call, right?
Call.
So after picking them apart using the boundaries with no timeouts, you decide to abandon that. B, where were they before you ran the ball, Scotty? The 40. The 40. He ended up around the 20. Why? You need to get in the end zone. So you had 14 seconds left. Does Dak have the arm to get it 40 yards down the field in the end zone?
I would hope so.
Yeah, he does. What is the difference between a couple plays to the end zone from the 40 or possibly, let's say you get the spike off, 1 play from the 25? Why did you need that run? It wasn't for yards to get into field goal range and try to spike it and you ran out of time. You needed another play to get in the freaking end zone. You could haul it to the end zone from the 40-yard line compared to the 20 or 25.
Get it to a wide receiver and get out of bounds. Anything. Anything other than that.
Dude, the play call literally made 0 effing sense. It may go down to me as the dumbest play call in the NFL history. Dude, this wasn't a regular
weapons.
Scotty, this wasn't a regular season loss. This was a home playoff game.
And they blame Jason Garrett.
As the 3 seed. So, yeah, we haven't even gotten to the head coach yet. So like, dude, it boggled my mind. And then to hear people complain about the referee that didn't get to him in time. Let's talk about that for a second. 14 seconds, 0 timeouts. If your go-to is to rely on, how old do you think that referee was?
At least, 50 plus?
Yeah, he didn't look like a young, spry referee, right?
It's like 60 plus, probably.
Right, okay. So you're relying on him in general to get all the way down the field with you guys to get the ball in place. Secondly, Dakota, you know the ref has to touch the ball before you snap it, right?
You should know.
Well, he knows. You should have been looking for the ref. Come on. Instead, you tried to get under center, and you got in his way and bumped into him. That's on you guys as well. Don't blame the 65-year-old freaking ref for not getting down there in time. You assholes.
Can you imagine, man? Can you imagine if that happens?
They're so hateable. It's laughable. And to just see it, they got smacked in the face with reality again. You fraudulent team. And I said it, Scotty, that's the main takeaway. Forget the loss.
Yeah.
Forget that it's funny. Forget it's another year with not making it out of the first round. Where do you go from here?
Right.
Heads have to start to roll.
When does the losing start to just become them? You know what I mean? Like like it already really has. But I'm saying like all this new talent that they get after this happens every season. Like CeeDee Lamb, how many times has this happened to him already? How many times do they lose in the first round or have a disappointing season before that is just engraved?
Scotty, they only gave up 23 points.
Their character.
They only gave up 23 points.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't the defense.
Not at all. That was the most exciting part about it.
And that was the number one offense in the NFL in the regular season.
That was the most. Oh, you remember that 50-burger they dropped on the Eagles in Week 18?
Yeah, I think that was a little skewed. I think those stats were skewed.
Should have saved some of those points for the wild card round, bud. But that's the best part about it. This wasn't the Cowboy. Dak can blame the defense because they couldn't get off the field, and now. Don't get me wrong. Whatever Randy Gregory decided to do at the end of this game is beyond me.
The Cowboy's gonna cowboy, man. That's
like,
what it is.
Beyond me, bro. Whatever he tackled an offensive lineman. Like 8 yards away from the running back.
Derek Barnett.
He turns his back and just takes a lineman to the ground. What are you doing? Like, but that was the best part. The defense didn't give up 40. The defense, it's not like they weren't able to get stops. It wasn't that. Your offense, this offense that's looked at as so greatly, 17 points at home. Oh man, listen, we spent a little too much time on that, but that felt good. After all my pain this week, the Sixers blow that lead last night.
Oh my God.
After all that happens, felt good to talk about that. Thank you, Dakota.
I 100% agree. But
you know what the best part is? We didn't even talk about the team that won.
I know that's what I was gonna say next. Is like let's switch sides a little bit here and talk about the 49ers.
I can.
As you look at the 49ers in this game and just moving forward, like what are your thoughts on their ceiling? Because I think it's obvious. Yeah. They're a quarterback away as far as winning a Super Bowl. Like, I would pick them to win the Super Bowl if they had a good quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jimmy G's a good quarterback. I think he finds way to win games. He's a game manager.
I think he's like Derek Carr, honestly.
Jimmy G's never going to lose you a game. My goodness, people, get out of here.
The spam.
An error occurred. Great.
Interesting.
Whatever. All right, so. Yeah, I don't think Jimmy G is ever going to win you a ball game, but I know he turns the ball over. He turned the ball over on Sunday, but I don't think he's ever going to put you in a bad position. I think if the offense is rolling the way it does, if Shanahan's got the run going the way he wants to, they can get the quick hitters out to Debo. They can get the quick hitters out to Kittle and Ayuk. I think he can manage that offense for as well as they want. They have a very good defense, but to your point, if they had like an elite quarterback, they'd be scary as all hell.
Because it reminds me of the Rams before they got Stafford. Like, it literally reminds me of that.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, I know the Rams have more names, but if the Niners had an elite quarterback, would you think the Niners or the Rams are better?
I mean, given
the Rams
the
have
Niners
way more names.
The Niners beat the Rams anyways with Jimmy G. So
listen, it's weird, dude. The Niners, dude.
They
Aaron
have like
Donald,
the Rams number.
Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller, OBJ, Cooper Kupp, right there. They have all the names in the world. You put an elite quarterback on that team, look the hell out.
It's their commitment to the run, man. I think
that's the counterpart to it, right? Is that elite quarterback going to come in here and be okay with maybe only throwing the ball 23 times a game because they're going to run the ball down your throat?
Down your rock.
Yeah.
I like that. No, but I feel you on that. And, that's something you got to ask yourself. And I also ask myself, what does Jimmy G look like outside of Kyle Shanahan? Just the same exact thing as Jared Goff, honestly, is what I'm thinking here.
I think Jimmy G is just more of a winner. I mean, he won in New England. Then again, that defense, greatest coach of all time. You haven't seen
set
Jimmy
up very nicely.
You haven't seen Jimmy Garoppolo in an environment that's kind of out of his comfort zone, kind of uncontrollable or an unknown. Yeah. Like you said, you have him with this San Francisco defense, Shanahan's offense, before it was Belichick's offense, and with that defense, if you had him, let's say Jimmy G was with the Raiders.
It's not his fault,
No, not at all. But I'm just saying.
But yeah, no, I agree. The other thing I wanted to look at with San Fran, obviously their defense, I know the Cowboys choked. But they were the number one offense.
Yeah.
And if
we're looking at this game,
and San Fran did hold them to 17 points.
If we're looking at this game, San Fran, and again, to preview tonight's game a little bit, if San Fran's going to be successful tonight, they have to do what they did against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
What they do against the Cowboys.
On a different level, though.
They ran the ball.
On a higher level.
And they played defense.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take to pull out a win tonight. And that's 100%. What they did well on Sunday. And then, of course, you just get Debo the ball anyway.
Yeah, man. I want to talk about Debo. I just wanted to add on to your point there. 77 rushing yards given up to the Cowboys as well. I know the Cowboys didn't run the ball a whole lot, but still under 100 rushing yards. So still good to know. But I do want to point something out about Debo because he's just I don't know. He's just a player, right? He doesn't. It doesn't matter where he's at on the field, and that's something that's very dynamic. I almost feel like he could be top 15 as a running back or a wide receiver. He's that good. He's that athletic. He's that built. He's just perfectly built for running back. And wide
I guess the question would be is he top 15 skill position player? Right,
overall,
all the wide receivers, all the running backs, all the
maybe we got to start listing something like that out, man. That's a good one because where would he go overall when we're talking about a Jamar Chase at the top or a Devontae Adams and then a top running back per se like a Jonathan Taylor? What does that look like? That list?
Do you throw Travis Kelce on the
right? You would have to. So that's interesting. We'll have to do that in the off season for sure. But Debo Samuel, he is an interesting player. We'll talk a lot more about him in the preview, I'm sure. But I guess it's a good time, to switch gears here, get into today's games, and talk about this Bengals and Titans preview. Right, this is the game that I'm a little more excited about. Which don't get me wrong, I think both matchups are great. I honestly think these are going to be good games all around today. But 3.5 dog to the Titans today. The Bengals are. I guess where we can start, what are you looking at going into this game? What are your just general thoughts on this game?
So there's a few things I want to see. I'll start on the Cincinnati side of the ball. Are they able to do things better than they did last week? Right. So are you able to get Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins involved? Joe Mixon needs to have more than 47 rushing yards if they want to 100%. Win today's game. Are they able to stop the run defensively? When I go to Tennessee, rust. That's the key thing I'm looking for today with Tennessee for multiple reasons. Derrick Henry. What's the rust on Derrick Henry look like? Apparently, he's not going to have any limitations, no snap counts, no rushing count, nothing. He's a full go, right? What's the rust look like there? What's the rust look like for Tennessee as a whole? And Ryan Tannehill getting the 1 seed, having that bye, right? Do they have any rust? So it's going to be very interesting. And I'm not going to lie to you. I think Tannehill, they come out rusty, dude. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm looking at here as well, Dylan. First of all, when I'm looking at it from Cincinnati's side, can anyone stop Burrow and Jamar Chase, which
Right.
I asked you earlier. And what kind of feeds into that question is, sure, you can try to stop Jamar Chase, you can put a lot of attention on him, but as we talked about earlier, they have a ton of weapons to go to behind him. So I'm looking at the Titans. I think you have to start at point one, right? And focus on Jamar Chase and then figure it out from there. And it's like, it's good luck to them. And then, like you said, the rust factor. I thought that was a good point. It's something that I kind of didn't even think about going into this game, but it is a very great point. But my thoughts were, on a similar path, just not thinking specifically rust, but Derrick Henry returning.
Right.
What does that look like? You know what I mean?
100%.
Is that like a decoy factor, or is this Derrick Henry king of running? The king of the rushing attack in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Like, which Derrick Henry are we getting today? And I hate to doubt Derrick Henry, right?
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think you're getting the king.
I think you are too.
I think he comes out
too
in a big way. When you're built the way he is, dude, as long as he's 100% or close to 100%. He's going to be tough to stop. The question is, if you're Tennessee, he hasn't played in a while. How much of a workload? I know you said no limitations, but how much of a workload are you realistically throwing on?
Right.
Are you reverting back to we're feeding Derrick Henry 28 to 30 plus times, and then Tannehill can make plays off of that? Are you relying on Tannehill a little bit more? Because I think that's a worry if I'm Tennessee today. But then again, when you have AJ Brown and you have Julio Jones. This matchup is scary, dude. And again, I know we're doubting Tennessee. They're the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Why are we doubting Tennessee? And shout out to Hembo because he continues to bring it up to my attention. Tennessee, if you look across the playoff field, has dominated the rest of the playoff field.
Mm-hmm.
Dominated. And that was a couple games without Derrick Henry, without AJ Brown. Mm-hmm. So their defense has been a lot better than I think we thought. They're at home, and this game is hard to read, Scotty.
It is. And, I thought this was a good point as well. On the other side of rust is fresh legs. So if they have been preserving Derrick Henry, which could be the case, we don't know how long he has been healthy, how long they, really needed to keep him on IR. But if that is the case and he's just been preserved and he's been working out for a while now, watch out. I mean, that's dangerous, man. But, I looked at this game with Derrick Henry being at full strength in mind. So just to create clarity around this game, I was already analyzing it from the standpoint that Derrick Henry will be fully healthy and a full go. What do you think about, AJ Brown and getting him involved, and Julio Jones, who we have not seen really all season, got his first touchdown against Houston in that final week. But first touchdown of the season, right? Julio.
Julio, even with his time in Atlanta, kind of always struggled to find the end zone.
Right.
Julio to me was always, when he was healthy, was always a top 3 wide receiver in the league, if not the best wide receiver at one point in the league.
Yeah.
But he never, like fantasy wise or anything, he never had.
Guy.
No. But he looks kind of washed to me, dude. Like when they made that trade, I was like, holy shit, because I thought Julio still had it, right?
Yeah.
He's got something, but it ain't that. It ain't what he had before in Atlanta. So to me, he's kind of a non-factor today.
Like
how can you limit AJ Brown?
Yeah.
How can you slow him down? Do you bracket him? Do you throw a safety over there, over the top? Like, to me, I'm not worried about AJ Brown beating me over the top. I think I'm pressing him at the line of scrimmage. I'm bracketing him a little bit, leaning a linebacker over the middle towards him, and not letting him get, because he'll kill you with underneath stuff.
Yeah.
He'll kill you with the slant, and he'll take it to the house on a slant. Like, don't get me wrong.
He's hard to get down.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I don't want no help over the top because he can beat you over the top, but he's very difficult underneath, and that's the kind of stuff I'd be looking to take away from him today.
Yeah, and I think, if we're looking at ways where Tennessee is really in their game and really in the flow of their offense, it's when you're running the ball on first and second down.
Right. Third and shorts.
third and shorts to AJ Brown and whoever else is out there with him. But yeah, that's where Cincinnati's going to.
That's a great point.
Really,
can Cincinnati keep Tennessee in third and long situations?
Yeah,
that's how they'll be successful getting off the field. I think you're not
getting pressure
that.
on Tannehill. You give your defensive line opportunities to get after him,
100%.
That's where their talent is on defense. It's in that front seven. Hendrickson, Hubbard. So hopefully those guys can be dominant today. I think that's going to be the key. Probably
Logan Wilson.
On both sides, man.
Wait.
What'd you say?
I said Logan Wilson. Oh, wait, should have been an Eagle.
Yeah, he's nice, man. But I think that, that's going to be one of the keys on each side, though, Dylan. As we have talked through this game, just thinking, obviously the Bengals' weakness, protecting Joe Burrow. You got to keep him up on his feet. You cannot let that Tennessee pass rush get after it. And you got to give him time to use his weapons and get that running game going, right? Like stay balanced. That was one of the keys I had written down here for the Bengals, in this game. I know how good Joe Burrow, I've spoken very highly of him, and I do think he can do whatever you ask him to do. But maybe let's try not to ask him to do the world, to do the
you don't want Joe Burrow having to throw the ball 45 times today.
Exactly.
Like you want it, in that low to mid 30s probably. And you want to get Joe Mixon as close to 20 touches as you can.
100%.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I like Joe Mixon to get over 20 plus touches overall. I think you need to get him involved out of the backfield in the screen game.
Short passes.
Right. Yeah. And then maybe get him 4 or 5 catches and like 17, 18 rushes, get him involved that way. And hopefully, because I think that's a key that we haven't spoken of for Cincinnati is if you can open up the running game early, if you can get Mixon involved and going early, what does that do for your passing offense?
Yeah,
think about that. For as scary as your passing offense is alone, imagine if Joe Mixon can pick up chunk yardage on first and second downs and what it can do to open up Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins.
Yeah. Because, as you said that, I'm thinking just through this season for Cincinnati and, thinking through all their games. And I'm thinking, Jamar Chase is always going to do his thing. Those wide receivers do their thing. But Joe Mixon is the key to them getting victories and even blowout victory where we see that offense totally explode. Joe Mixon is that key. And I love that you brought that up because I do think as we look at this game and we can actually, this is good segue into the parlay that I have selected out for this game today.
All right.
But, looking at Joe Mixon just being the key to that offense, getting going, getting him involved all over the field, it just opens up the lanes for everybody. Because now if you're having to worry about Joe Mixon out of the backfield, you really can't afford to double a Jamar Chase, right? Like you can't afford to do all this doubling all over the field. So you're going to get a lot of one-on-one, coverages as far as T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. So Joe Mixon's going to be the key there. But as you know, similar to what we did last week, we will be giving a parlay for each playoff game this week. So just something we think has a good chance of hitting, right? So I'll go ahead and lead the way here, Dylan. For this game today, I'm going to go Mixon anytime touchdown. Obviously, we've talked about it. I think he is going to be involved, especially in the red zone this week. And he really wasn't used that much in the red zone. He wasn't used that much last week at all. The way he should be overall. So I think he gets involved specifically in the red zone, gets in the end zone here. And then I also have a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown because I just feel like him being back, if he is at full strength like we expect him to be, like they say he will be, they're going to get him in the end zone. I mean, they're going to want to welcome him back, get him really going. And what better way to do that than getting him, to get 6 points on the board. And then I'm going to wrap it up. And I guess this will give away my pigskin pick for this game, but I'm going to wrap it up with the Bengals money line.
Whoa!
I'm going Bengals
risky,
20.
Bro.
I'm going Bengals 23-20 over the Titans today. It's going to be a coin flip of a game, and you just hope that the Joe Burrow, the expectations that I put on him, I hope he follows through with it. I hope he's the truth like I think he is. And I think they'll get this W today. But that's going to be my 3-leg parlay for this game, and it's sitting at plus 626. And I did this calculation last night, so the lines could have changed. I would have to take a look, but that's what I'm rolling with.
I went 5 legs, bro. But so quick,
I may go a little bit longer as well.
Real quick, Pigskin
that's my safe one.
Pigskin pick. I will back you. I do have Cincinnati winning this game. Am I overly confident? No.
Not enough to put the money line.
But this is a passing league. I trust Joe Burrow right now tremendously. And what did we just see? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing the Eagles rushing attack to King Henry. Okay, but what did we just see? The number one rushing offense in football get the Eagles? Nothing.
Right.
I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. Maybe that's on me. Maybe he's shown me otherwise. But I'll trust Joe Burrow in this game. But I will go King Henry anytime touchdown scored. I also like Jamar Chase to find the end zone today. So I think Chase's yardage, his production is a little bit lower, but I do think he finds the end zone like he didn't last week. I also like Jamar Chase 60-plus receiving yards, Derrick Henry 70-plus rushing yards, and Joe Burrow. I was leaning 225. I'm going to play a little riskier. I'm going to go 250-plus passing yards. Odds are plus 532.
I think I went 225 plus for Joe Burrow on one of them.
I could, if you want to play it a little safer, you could do that as well. I just feel like today could be a day where you see Burrow sling for close to 300.
I hope so. So just to be clear, that was my safe one. So I'll go ahead and read you my other one just for fun. Just for fun. Because I had something similar to you, Dylan. I had another one in here. So I had Cincinnati money line still. I had
You're
Derrick
ballsy,
Henry.
Bro. I listen.
I know.
You.
I know, man. I'm. You know what it is? I'm going all in, and I'm like,
let me see something.
If Joe Burrow does this, then they're gonna win. If these guys do what I'm expecting them to do,
I feel you.
So I got Cincinnati money line. I got Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. I got Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. I got Jamar Chase 60 plus. I got Joe Burrow 225 plus.
Okay.
And then I got T. Higgins just 25 plus receiving yards.
All right.
And that's sitting at plus 1295.
All right. So here's the thing, right? If you take mine, I didn't even put money line in yet. I'll see in a second. If you take Bengals plus 4, it's plus 1275. If you go Bengals money line, plus 1901. 425 would pay out 500. Oh my! Real quick. Yeah. So we both had the Bengals winning. Both have similar parlays. You enticed me a little bit with the Bengals. I might play it a little safer and go with the plus 4, just to be a little safe. But if you're on DraftKings, George Ryder pointed this out to me last night, and I just went immediately on and did it. It's not a guarantee. Obviously, the odds are like that for a reason. But they're doing a thing for divisional round weekend. Every team to score a rushing touchdown. Plus 2,800. 25 pays 725. Now listen, I know because I did it, someone's not running, getting a rushing touchdown. 8 teams, 8 rushing touchdowns between today and tomorrow.
Trying to think of
just
who
one,
it would
just
be.
one each.
Like who would it be that would fuck it up? Probably Kansas City.
Kansas City could definitely fuck it up.
Kansas City or Buffalo.
But I believe Kansas City didn't run one in last week.
Yeah, it's a good chance they're gonna get
there's a chance they get at least one in this week. Buffalo, I feel you, but if they get in, Allen's a threat. Like that's the thing. It doesn't have to be a running back.
Yeah, I know.
Be a wide receiver, a quarterback, anything.
No, I mean, why not? That's
what I said.
Yeah, that's easy. Why not? So yeah, I think we're on the same page, and I do have like a safer one as well. So I just have a Jamar Chase touchdown, Derrick Henry 50 plus yards. I have AJ Brown 40 plus receiving yards, Jamar Chase 70 plus receiving yards, and Joe Mixon 40 plus receiving yards. And that was actually sitting at a plus 1027, so 1027. So that's not bad, but
it's tough, bro.
I know. I'm trying to make some money today, my man. Playoffs, NFL playoffs is the time to make money though, because that's when you know these teams are going to be focused on getting their stars the ball, like all this during the regular season decoying and not wanting to show your real offense, and in the playoffs there's no playing around. They gotta put their best weapons forward, so it makes it more fun for me. But We do got to preview this one game before we get out of here, my man. So we got the 49ers traveling to the number 1 seed's house, the Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field. Last time I checked, Green Bay was a 5.5-point favorite. As you're looking at this game, what are some, just general takeaways, or what are you looking for in this game, Dylan?
I'm looking, like I said earlier, I'm looking to see if San Fran can do what they did against Dallas, but on a greater scale tonight. How it's so cliche, but how do you beat Tom Brady? How do you beat Aaron Rodgers? How do you beat the great ones? Control the clock.
Yep.
Run the football. And then obviously play defense the way San Fran's been able to. Is Nick Bosa playing tonight?
Did he get injured in the last game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I actually don't know. I can look it up really quick.
I think he's okay now, but he had a head injury in the last game. But I think if they can run the ball at a greater scale, if they can play defense against Aaron Rodgers, they have a chance. Teaser for everybody. No. I don't think they win tonight. I think Lambeau, Aaron Rodgers, he's on another planet right now. And I like Green Bay to come away with this one. I don't think it's that. I don't think you got to overthink it, Scotty. I don't think, when we look at Green Bay's side, we don't have to be like, oh, well, if Rodgers can do this, if they can. No, if Green Bay just plays the way they have all year, Aaron Rodgers hasn't turned the ball over, I don't think, since week 10 or so. I forget how long it's been since he's turned the ball over. That's another thing. If you're San Fran, you have to find a way to turn him over. And outside of that, I don't see San Fran having a shot.
Yeah, and we talk about it's a lot easier said than done as far as turning Aaron Rodgers over. Like you said, he hasn't had a turnover in however long, but he doesn't turn the ball over very often. Mark tapping in here, he says a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Definitely some pressure on him. Any more than what he's already faced in his career, I don't think so at this point. We're talking about a guy that's been talked about as one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT of all, as far as talent. Obviously, I'm not putting him over Tom Brady as far as accolades and everything put into it. But just as far as even being in the goddamn conversation, the pressure comes with that. The pressure comes with being an MVP candidate, with being the number one.
Not to mention, the knock on him. As great as he is, he might be the greatest thrower of the football that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's got 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's choked in the playoffs a couple times. So if 1 seed at home, he can't do that today.
100%. And are you seeing me all right here?
You are very staticky.
Okay. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Okay. Because I see my Wi-Fi is like popping up here. All right. I have no idea why that's happening either. But I'm here it goes again. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Goodness. It's got like 0 bars, like randomly. But what I would say about this game, Dylan, as long as you're hearing me,
this is quality product for everybody.
Quality production, man. Shout out the Wi-Fi. Shout out Xfinity. But when I look at this game between the 49ers and the Packers, I look at the 49ers as this team that is. They're perfectly built to beat the Packers. Like, I'm not going to deny that. I think they have like the formula, like you said, to control the time of possession.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things, similar to what we were looking at last week with Tom Brady, where I'm just not going to pick against Aaron Rodgers. Like, I think, obviously you can have all the factors go in your favor if you want to try to win this game. But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter when you're going against one of the greatest. And I look at this game. I think San Fran, they'll do a good job, making Aaron Rodgers have to win a game. I think they'll be able to do that. But it's just that, making Aaron Rodgers have to win the game, and that's something he has no problem doing. And I also see this as a huge Devontae Adams game. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that in these games where we see these great defenses, which San Fran has a great defense, and I did look it up. Bosa is not injured; he's in today.
Okay.
But, looking at San Fran with this great defense, they're going to be able to stop most of the Packers' offense. You know what I mean? They'll be able to stop the run. I do think they will. I think they'll be able to get pressure on Rodgers. But what do you do if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're going against a great defense? You go to your best weapon the entire game, and I think he's going to be force-fed today. I honestly do see it that way.
I do too. I also think you see the running backs get a lot of action out of the passing game today. I think you see Aaron Jones and maybe some call. AJ Dillon out of the backfield today, as a way to just throw different looks, alleviate the pressure from San Fran. If the right side of the defensive line with Nick Bosa is getting pressure early, slip it back out there and see if you can beat them that way. But I'm with you, dude. I think Aaron Rodgers makes every play he needs to tonight. I do think Davante Adams has a very nice game tonight.
Yeah.
And for my Pigskin pick, I think the Packers roll tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with what you said earlier. It's not something that has to be super perplexing or complicated. It's going to be a Packers win. I think they take care of business. I do have a feeling, obviously we'll talk about, Super Bowl picks down the line, once we get there. But I do look at this as one of the seasons where Aaron Rodgers has a really good chance of getting there. He's set himself up perfectly. One other thing for tonight, if you're the Packers, you got to protect Aaron Rodgers' toe at all costs. I just wanted to throw that in there. They got to protect that toe at all costs because you do not need him hobbling around in that pocket against San Francisco. That would be the only way that I do see San Fran winning that game, is if something happens to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, you're back and clear now.
Am I? Yes.
Yeah.
It went away, man. And it's so weird, Dylan, because I'm looking up at the top of my MacBook right here, and my Wi-Fi is full bars. So it's StreamYard. Like I'm pointing the finger at StreamYard again. It has to be because everything else is working fine. It's just StreamYard here. But I look at this game as this is Packers all the way for me. I think some people will overcomplicate it. I don't think it's that complicated. I got Packers winning 28-17 tonight.
28-17. So what you're saying is they cover my alternate spread that I have in my same game parlay, Scotty. So for tonight's game, I do have Packers alt spread -3.5. I have Allen Lazard anytime touchdown score. Ooh. No Marquez Valdez-Scantling tonight for the Packers. Lazard, I believe, has scored in 4 of his last 5 or 5 straight games.
He's a big target.
He is. So I like him to score tonight. Obviously, Davante Adams is a nice pick, but I went a little bit more value with Lazard. Rodgers, 250 plus passing. That's another one where I could lean towards the 225. It doesn't seem like that big of a gap, but from 225 to 250, you could be talking end of a game. He's at 238 and they don't need to throw the ball anymore. And you're like, damn. So you could play the 225 route. I also have AJ Dillon, 25 plus rushing yards. For whatever reason, like Aaron Jones should be the featured back. He's
the bigger back. He's the physical back, AJ Dillon.
Dude, I've watched a lot of Packers this year. Matt LaFleur runs AJ Dillon a decent amount. So AJ Dillon, 25 plus rush yards. George Kittle, 40 plus receiving yards. And those odds equate to a plus 1,057.
Love it. Let me get my dangerous one out, and then I'll give you my safe one here. So I got one in that is plus 709. So that's Green Bay money line. I have a Debo anytime touchdown just because they give it to him.
It's Debo,
They give it to him rushing, receiving. Right. You can get it either way. So I got Debo getting into the end zone once again. I got Davante Adams, 70 plus receiving yards. I have George Kittle, 40 plus receiving yards. And then I have Debo 25 plus rushing yards. I do think
look at you
involved in the rushing game. And that comes out at plus 709. Let me get my risky one pulled up here. Oh, of course it signs me out. Signing me out live. My technology is failing me, dude. All right, here we go. So in my larger one, so this one comes out to plus 1466. I have Green Bay money line. I have Davante Adams touchdown, so I didn't go Lazard way with you. I still have the Debo Samuel touchdown. Mm-hmm. I have Aaron Rodgers 225 plus.
I think I might have to pull back on both and go 225 plus.
Like you said,
easy.
They're in the cold. It's nighttime. If they get like a decent lead, I do agree with you as far as them kind of resorting to the run. Keep it light on Aaron Rodgers. I still have the 25 plus rushing yards for Debo, 25 plus receiving yards for George Kittle. Then I have 25 plus receiving yards for Debo as well.
Okay.
Then I have 70 plus receiving yards for Davante, and that does come out to the plus 1466 there.
That's a nice one.
So we'll see. We will see. But
they always seem so
nice.
Man. They always seem so reasonable on paper in your bet slip when they're ready to go.
Then it goes to random.
Last night.
Aaron Jones will score 2 touchdowns.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
he'll score 4 like he did earlier in the year.
Right.
But it's like, what leg's going to beat you? Like last night, Sixers.
The money line.
Hit all my legs. I think it was like a 9-legger, 8-legger, whatever I had, hit all my legs. Embiid went for 30+, 9 boards. Maxey went for 14+, whatever. There was a lot. A couple threes made. And Sixers money line was the one. And when I tell you, Scotty, that didn't even like cross my mind. Like when they were up by 24 in the first half, I was just like, okay, like I need like at halftime.
I was the same, man.
Dude, at halftime, I needed 4 Embiid rebounds and 5 Embiid points to hit, or 12 points. Sorry, he was at 17 at halftime. 12 points and 4 rebounds where the Sixers win. He did that with no problem. And then Sixers freaking money line. Not to mention, they went back up 89-80 late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, the Clippers reeled it back in for a second. It was a 4-point game. I'm like, dude, they're going to blow this game. Are you kidding me? Sixers extend the lead, almost double-digit lead again with like 5 or so, 6 minutes left. Right back down the shitter.
I remember, so what I needed, like, I think it was going into the fourth quarter, I needed like 2 points from Tobias and like maybe 2. I feel like Embiid had already eclipsed 25 points by then. So I think I just needed the 2 points from Tobias to get to 15. And he finally hit it, and I yelled. I like went up to. I was at the game with Parcero and Caught and my girlfriend. And Parcero's girl,
shout out to Caught. I can't like. How else are we supposed to say it? Like that's his name, but it just sounds so funky. Like saying it. Like, yo, who were you chilling with last night? I was with Caught. Like what, bro?
Shout out to him, man. One of the goats on TikTok for sure. But I was chilling with them at the game, and I go up to them. I'm like, yo, my parlays just hit. I just need the Sixers to finish this one out. And
how'd that feel?
Slowly watched it just go away. Like when they went up, I was just like sick to my stomach, bro. Like,
nice.
No way.
Nice kick in the nads.
Yeah.
And speaking of nads,
kick me while I'm down, man.
And speaking of nads, guys, we are still brought to you by Manscaped. So use our promo code below, as you see on the bottom of the screen right now, code DSM. Yes, we have reverted back to just DSM. It got too confusing, man.
It's weird,
for you guys, too confusing for us. 9 different codes. It felt like we added more shows. We revert back to just one code for every show here on DSM Media. Use promo code DSM on manscaped.com for 20% off and free worldwide shipping.
Yes, sir.
It's that simple.
It's that simple, man. Anything else for today, my man?
No, man, it's time to go hit the bar.
I feel you, bro. It is definitely time to get it in. I'm about to go fold some clothes really quick and then get after it.
But no, I got to take a shower and get out of here.
It should be a fun day. Always great when it's NFL
playoff football.
Time. So it should be fun today, guys. I hope everyone out there enjoys their day. Be safe, of course. And of course, we will be back here tomorrow at our regularly scheduled time on Sundays, 10 a.m. So definitely tune in. Be similar setup to today. We'll recap the 2 associated games from last week. So that would be the Bills and the Pats, and then the Rams and the Cardinals.
2 blowouts.
And the Buccaneers and the
Eagles. Yeah. 3 blowouts.
So we got 4. Yeah, we got 4 games to cover from last. Or
3.
3. Yeah, no, because the Chiefs played last week too. Chiefs played.
Oh shit!
Oh my God, who did the Chiefs play?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers. So we'll recap all of those games, and then we'll get into the 2 games, preview those for tomorrow. But for myself, or for my co-host Dylan, make sure you give him a follow at DylanJD98. For myself, you can find me at Scotty Drown, and for DSM Media, you can find us at DSM_media.
We're back.
Make sure you follow that page because we are back streaming on Twitter.
Get us to 2,000, man.
I'm so excited, bro.
We're over 1,900, guys. Help us get to 2,000 followers on Twitter. The content's going to keep coming. We just added a new show, the Broad Street Bulls. which is brought to you with Jeremy and George Ryder.
Yes, sir.
I believe it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 9 p.m. or 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
They're just breaking down the Philly sports world and anything else similar to what Git and I do on the Faithful Fanatic Show. Just a different perspective, two different guys giving you some different takes and different thoughts.
It's different time slots too.
Right.
So like they're going to be recapping certain things that we just won't get to
100%.
throughout the week. So,
right. So if Faithful Fanatics are on at 5, Sixers game's on at 7, we're going to be previewing that game.
And boom,
9:30, the Broad Street Bulls could be reviewing that game. So,
and also wanted to shout out our graphic designer KC as well with the fire graphics. We're keeping them coming. Obviously, Jeremy helps out as well. So shout out to both of those guys helping us out with that. Just spreading the love here at DSM. We love all of our guys we got working with us here. And cheers to more growth in 2022. So make sure you hit that follow button. Get us to 2,000 followers on Twitter. And cheers to being able to stream on Twitter from the DSM account. Actually, a reason to go to the account, right?
Exactly.
Like, go watch content on the account. So make sure you're following us. And our YouTube viewers, we love you as well. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Hit the like.
Get us to 500.
Share it out. Get us to 500 subscribers on YouTube. We love all of you. And, of course, Facebook, as always. We will stay streaming there. Make sure you give a like, share it out on the Facebook page. Make sure we get more viewers, more engagement. That's what it's all about. For myself, for Dylan, for DSM Media, that is going to be it for this episode of NFL Turf Talk.